Who wants to see what Cenk has to say this time? Shall we?
What they're saying is, don't make a peace deal with anyone, because all the Palestinian representatives are terrorists by their definition. I'm asking all of you guys. Name one Palestinian. Name one Palestinian. Name one Palestinian. Name one Palestinian. Name one Palestinian that would be acceptable to do a peace deal with. And guess what? You're not going to have one name because you don't want peace. Go ahead, name them.
Hang on. All right, Cenk.
Find me.
Oh boy. To be honest, there's no surprises here, but Cenk, first of all, presents the argument of the people who are suggesting that Israel is unfortunately between a rock and a hard place because there's no one to make peace with. He presents their argument quite soundly in that you say that all the people who are in positions of influence and authority among the Palestinians are terrorists. They all want to kill you and your family and your people, and therefore you can't find anyone to negotiate with about a peace deal. So name someone that you're going to negotiate with, and if you can't, that means you don't want to make peace. Where do you even begin in addressing such an absurd statement, such an absurd position? You're trying to make peace. There's nobody to talk to because all the people in positions of authority and power want to kill you. So name who you're going to negotiate with, and otherwise that means you don't want peace. For the record, I'm going to quote a statistic now. This is a statistic that comes from the Palestinian Center for Policy Survey and Research. So this is a Palestinian statistic that says that 72% of Palestinians in the aftermath of October 7 agreed with the attack, agreed with what Hamas and friends perpetrated, with what they did on October 7th. That means 3 out of every 4 Palestinians agreed with it. But if you can't find a partner for peace, that means that you don't want peace. Really? Okay. Let's continue.
Let me ask Ben. Ben, name one Palestinian who would be acceptable for a government in Palestine going forward.
Any one of them that promises to not work with Hamas or Hezbollah is someone that you can do a deal with. The problem is you don't have one that you brought to the forefront.
I mean, so far on its face, that seems pretty solid. It says if you can present someone that doesn't work with terrorists, with people that attacked and are continuing to attack us and our people in real time, present me someone that's not affiliated with them and we can talk. I mean, can you argue with that?
You don't have one. And I go back to what you keep saying, and I understand you hate the Jews, and I get that.
You killed everybody in Gaza.
Again.
Seriously? That's his argument? So Cenk says, the reason you can't find anyone to negotiate with, or you're putting the onus on me, right? So Ben Furgeson says to Cenk, if you want you want us to negotiate with someone about making peace, suggest who we should negotiate. Give us an example. Put someone forward. And Cenk says, well, I can't because you killed everyone. So is he suggesting that a deal isn't needed anymore because there's no one left in Gaza? They're all dead? I mean, and he says it with such certainty and pride and a smile on his face and confidence, like, yeah, this is the argument to oppose you. You can't find anyone to make a peace deal with because you killed them all. Okay, so then there's nothing to talk about. So what's your problem? Really?
Let me finish. Okay.
Now, what's his next problem? Well, I can't find you someone to negotiate with because you killed everyone. What are we going to do? Pick a random person with a lottery? So he's acknowledging and agreeing that there's no one to talk to. There's no one in a position of authority that cares, that is interested in peace, that is interested in considering peace realistically in a way that's potentially feasible. And if you want to find someone to negotiate with, you're going to have to just pick a random person out of a lottery. So you're agreeing that there's no one to talk to. So how are you suggesting that the reason that Israel isn't negotiating for peace is because they don't want it, when you're clearly saying yourself that there is no one to talk to, and if you wanted to find someone, you'd have to pick a random person out of a lottery. Okay, so what do you suggest exactly? Genius.
Let me finish. At the end of the day, if the only people that come to the table that are in charge of the Palestinian people are those that have direct ties to terrorism, you cannot do a deal with terrorists because the terrorists will never stop being terrorists. So I would ask you this question. Name one Palestinian leader.
Not one person.
You can bring.
That's his argument. Same thing. Right? Ben says, okay, all the people who are potentially available to negotiate with are terrorists, or at a minimum are perhaps at best unofficially associated with and affiliated with terrorists. And we all know that. That's clear as day. So can you suggest someone who's not? And if you can, we'll talk. And he says, well, see, I told you you can't find anyone. Why? Because you don't want peace. You can't suggest anyone because you don't want peace. He himself just acknowledged that. I mean, first of all, he said that everyone's dead, so there's no one to negotiate with and no one to negotiate about. Then he says, well, if you do want someone, you have to pick a random lottery. So then how is it Israel's problem that they don't have someone to negotiate with if you suggest that in order to do so, you need to do a lottery, and also with your facial expression and body language clearly express the fact that that would be an absurd thing to do. So what do you want? Oh, well, you don't have anyone to negotiate with. That means that you don't want peace. See, I told you. Wow.